Hello and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you enjoy what you see and if you want to continue seeing more. Coming up in this episode, we have a look at 3 of the squads for the Rugby League World Cup that have been confirmed in our continued series. Pre-World Cup warm-up game action with the results and scorers from 7 games that were played, 6. Plus Rugby League hardman stalwart NRL favourite James Graham talks about the effects of Rugby League. I begin today with the Rugby League World Cup only a week away. There have been some warm-up games played Friday and Saturday, and I'm going to catch up with the scorers and results from those 6 matches, as we've already covered the 7th, which was England versus Fiji. There were teams like England Knights, Scotland, Jamaica, Tonga, New Zealand, all in action, and they're all taking on decent opponents just to get tuned up ready for the World Cup ahead. So who played who and what were the scores? Let's begin and I'll show you. So we're talking about the England Knights first, as they played Scotland, and England Knights came out 28 points to 4 victors. Broadbent, Thulis and Lytton got the tries, while Thulis scored 4 of them, and Will Price kicked 2 from 5 attempts. It was a one-way traffic game, with Kane Lynette scoring for Scotland their only points. That was played on Saturday, and you're still able to watch it on The Sportsman via YouTube. Yesterday also saw France versus Tonga on what was the Recast channel. Just go on there, you'll be able to watch it as many times as you want. And Tonga came out 48 points to 12 victors. David Fafita was the star turn as he grabbed a hat-trick, but Tuipulotu, Hurl, Kola, Amone, Olukoatu and Otukolo all got a try apiece. Siosua Takiyaho kicked 2 from 4 attempts, while Katoa scored 4 from 5 goals. Justin Sangare and Cesar Rouge got the tries for France, while Atomorgs was good with the boot, kicking 2 from 2. Wales played Lebanon at Haywood Road, Swinton, where we saw Wales win Wales lose 38 points to 22. The NRL stars of the Cedars were the ones that shone, as Mane, Kiraz, El Zakem, Thanos, Mansour, Maroon, Mabani and Kazi all went over for tries for Lebanon, while Adam Duhey kicked 2 from 7 and Abbas Minsky kicked 1 from his 1 conversion attempt. Walker, 2 tries from Davis, and Carl Evans all went over the tries for Wales, while Olds kicked 1 from 1 conversion and Elliot Keir kicked 2 from 3. Saturday also saw the testimonial match between Leeds Rhinos and New Zealand Kiwis, as New Zealand were tuning up and looked ominous for the World Cup ahead. In what was a game what was basically a farewell game for Tommy Lulai for Rugby League, as he's now hung his boots up. New Zealand won 74 points to 0. Sebastian Chris got a hat-trick, while Shazni and Nicol Klokstad got 2. Ronaldo Molitalo got 2, and Jesse Bromwich got a double as well. Dean Ware, as a guest in the team, scored, with Marshall King, Nikora, Hughes and Smith all going over for tries. Jordan Rapana scored 9 conversions from his 11 attempts, while Brandon Smith missed with his attempt. And so that Tommy Lulai got some points in his final game. They gave him 2 attempts at goal, but he missed them both, unfortunately. Friday saw the return of Cumbria RLF Rugby League as they beat 28 points to 12 Jamaica by a decent scoreline. The hardest working man in Rugby League responded to an early try from AJ Wallace as Carl Amor went over to open the scoring from the reformed Cumbria. Johnson, Tare, Ritson and Carter all got to try apiece, while Carter kicked 5 from 6. Woodburn Hall scored the one try for the Jamaicans just before half time, while Rush kicked 2 from 3 attempts, 1 being a penalty. In the game of the weekend though, it must be Bradford Bulls 34, Greece 34. A hat-trick from Gill got Bradford on the way to a 22 points to 0 half-time score, with Hoyle adding to the scoreline. But tries from Magoulis, Nanakis, Magoulis from 2, Mamazoulis and Vernos all got Greece tries, while Scully and Gibson got second half points for Bradford Bulls. George Flanagan Jr. kicked 5 from 6 goals, while Lachlan Ilias kicked 5 from 7, coming so close to winning the game in the final few moments, but he missed his penalty attempt. Our episode continues with the news of James Graham's column in The Australian, where for the first time since retiring from the NRL in 2020, former prop James Graham decided to get an MRI to find out how much damage his 100 plus concussions over his 423 game career has caused. The scans found conclusive proofs that he has brain damage from his time playing rugby league, and the former Bulldogs and St George Illawarra hardman wants the NRL to take action. Graham recalls feeling pressured to return to action as soon as possible after concussions, but has said the game needs to do more for it to help the current players. It was confirmed via MRI scan that part of my 36-year-old brain is damaged and that it is down on volume at the front and side parts of my brain, Graham wrote for News Corp. While the neuropsychological tests I passed quite well, an MRI showed the possible wear and tear of 17 years of rugby league, over 400 games and 100 concussions. As my neurologist, Dr. Rowena Mobbs, explained, my frontal lobe, the front of the brain, and the parietal, the side part of the frontal lobe, on the right side of my brain were all down on volume for the man of my age. Mildly so, Dr. Mobbs tells me, but enough to say it's significant. There was also an irregularity in the middle area of my brain, which is called the white matter. White spots are showing up, particularly on the left side. The white matter part of the brain is for transmission. It's like a freeway. There are white spots or lesions indicating tiny areas of significant change. Migraines can cause them, but so can head trauma. This was the first MRI Graham had gone for since he was knocked out cold during the NRL finals in 2018. While he admitted to having over 100 concussions in his career, this one was particularly bad and was the only concussion that has really ever concerned him. Part of the series from the Head Noise podcast, Graham continued on his story. After that concussion, I couldn't drive. I didn't feel like myself. I suffered debilitating headaches, was extremely sensitive to noise, and I was so concerned about the state of my brain that I went for an MRI and had that MRI scan. Graham said that the latest MRI was a wake-up call for not only Graham, but the entire of the NRL. That is only now discovering the impacts of head injury, that what players can have in later life. For someone my age, my brain should not be losing volume like this. I knew it anyway. But I need to take care of my brain health, Graham said. I'm not looking for anyone's sympathy. I have repeatedly said to maybe the meaning of life is something that you're worth dying for. And rugby league was this for me. I have to take responsibility for the way I lived and played. Before this brain scan, I was aware I had to be careful with my alcohol intake. I have been conscious of it since lockdown in 2021. I've used medicinal cannabis to help me calm my anxiety. I've taken medications for depression. Graham went out on a high in 2020, winning the Super League Grand Final during lockdown as his St Helens side won 8 points to 4 at MKM Stadium in Hull. But Graham now wants to be an advocate for current players and has called on the NRL to put pressure in place for clubs to treat head injuries as seriously as any other injury. Perhaps we need to take that off the current crop of players. I think the game's power brokers can do more and take the onus off the footballers, Graham said. I also think the game's hierarchy needs to engage with companies who can provide cutting-edge technologies to gauge concussions. This would take the subjective away and provide clear-cut concussion diagnosis for athletes. I can't change the past, but I can make things better for the future. We now continue our series for the confirmed Rugby League squads as we finish off Group C, one from Group D, and then in another episode, the rest of Group E. First of all, as you can tell, we have Ireland up on the chopping block, and they have named 5 NRL players in their squad, as well as Sydney Rooster star Luke Keary in an impressive side for the Wolfhounds going into the competition. Keary, who had previously played for his birth nation Australia, qualifies to play for Ireland through his father. The New South Wales Origin representative is joined in the squad by fellow NRL players Josh Cook from the Bulldogs, Henry O'Kane from the West Tigers, James Hassan from the Rabbitohs, Jamin Jolie from the Titans, all included for Ireland's squad. 9 members of Jed Corrigan's side have previously played for Ireland. 15 players could make their first senior appearances for the Wolfhounds at the World Cup. Hull KR powerhouse George King will captain the side, which includes 2022 Super League Grand Finalists James Bentley and Richie Myler from Leeds. 2022 Challenge Cup winner Liam Byrne has also been selected alongside his club teammate and departing for Leeds, James McDonald. Huddersfield's new recruit Harry Rushton, formerly Canberra and Wigan, will make his international bow for Ireland. Halifax halfback Joe Keys is one of 7 championship players in Corrigan's squad. The 8-time Ireland international was this year's shortlisted as the Championship Player of the Year in the award ceremony, and was very, very impressive for Halifax throughout the season. Ballybridge-born Rowan Michael will feature in his first World Cup. In 2020, he became the first Irish-born player to feature in the Super League match since Brian Carney. But the impressive side could turn up a few upsets during this year, with James Bentley, Liam Byrne, Frankie Holton, George and Toby King, who have been ripping up Super League, while Luke Keary and the rest have been fantastic as well during the NRL season. But the teams certain to be favourites for Group C are New Zealand Warriors. They have named impressive squads yet again, obviously. Back-to-back NRL Telstra Premiership winners James Fisher-Harris, Moses Leota and Scott Sorensen are among 6 grand finalists in the new New Zealand Kiwis official 24-man squad for the Rugby League World Cup. The Penrith players are joined by Dylan Brown, Isaiah Papali'i and Marata Niukore from the beaten Eels side, following Sunday's 2022 decider. All 6 players were in the Kiwis extended squad, which went into the camp for the June test against Mate's Tonga at Mount Smart Stadium, a match which saw Brown, Niukore and Leota make their New Zealand test debuts alongside previously capped Fisher Harris and Papali'i, while Sorensen was on the extended bench. Selecting the squad for the World Cup was a real challenge given the quality of players in contention, said Kiwis head coach Michael Maguire. There were some tough calls to make, but we're excited about the group we've settled on. The only new faces in the squad is Sebastian Christ at centre, who has scored 25 tries in his 44 NRL appearances for Canberra. The Kiwis, minus the 6 grand final players, assembled and trained in Sydney this week before the advance party of 18 players plus staff flew to England on Friday. They're based in Leeds, and the 6 players involved in the NRL Grand Final are due to arrive in Leeds this Saturday, but won't be involved until the World Cup. Now we move on to Group D, and we are focusing on the first team in there, the Cook Islands. Well, to be fair, they've got the snazziest badge of the tournament, so I'm not going to argue with them being our first up in our squad reviews. And the Cook Islands have named 5 Super League players amongst their impressive squad at this autumn's World Cup. Tini Arona of Wakefield, Dylan Napper, Canterbury Catalan Dragons, Dom Peru of Toulouse, Brad Takarangi of Hull KR and Zane Tivano of Leeds are all included in Tony Iro's squad. There are 2 players from the Championship involved, with Jonathan Ford of Featherstone and Paul Ulberg of London Broncos. Featured in there is also Anthony Gelling, who won a Super League Grand Final and a World Cup challenge with Wigan, and he will be playing his 2nd World Cup for the Cook Islands. Tony Iro has also named Huddersfield's new recruit Essen Masters, which means that he headlines the Cookis squad, having made almost 100 appearances in the NRL for the Tigers, Cowboys and Titans. His cousin Stephen is also named in the side. There are several players involved in the NRL system included, with Kyle Iro for the Sharks, Mikeshi Makatoa of the Eels, David Moale for the Rabbitohs, Tapia Moroa of the Storm, Ruatapo Ingetakora of the Tigers, Brian Peterson Rabati of the Warriors, and Brendan Piakora of the Brisbane Broncos. So it's a side that shouldn't be written off, with Tevin Arona and Tinu Arona both included, Jonathan Ford, Anthony Gelling, Kyle Iro, who is also the coach's nephew and also the son of former player and Wigan legend Kevin Iro, who is going to be the pivot, I reckon, for the Cook Island side. There is a lot of experience, a lot of toughness, and a lot of South Island passion in this squad, and hopefully will be putting the other teams in the tournament on notice that they are there to do some damage. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way. Tell me what your thoughts are of the episode in the comment section below, as it's open for business and everyone can get involved, as long as you're staying civil. A lot to go through, so I'll leave it to you guys to tell me what your thoughts are. And in the meantime, I will end the episode by saying thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll now wish you all the best, so please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.